Hey, hey. Welcome, everyone.
Hey,
Yo,
welcome to another Friday Big Byte. Thank you all for tuning in. We have a lively chat already, it seems, with Matt and Courtney and Dan and whoever else. Congrats to all of you, to all of us, for, as Rob's email just said, 23 total awards from last night. Awesome job, everybody. Congrats. 13 silver, 9 gold, 1 best of show for digital. So kudos, round of applause to all you guys.
hell yeah.
But we're only as good as what we're about to do, right? That was so yesterday. So let's get on with it and talk about some stuff. Today's episode this week, we're going to be talking about some content marketing, and it's pretty prevalent now more so than ever. And so we have a couple of pretty cool examples of content marketing stuff to show you guys. Is that me, Rob? Am I on deck here?
You're the man. Go for it.
You're the man, man. You're the man now, dog. Okay, so this is Skull Candy. You guys are probably familiar with Skull Candy as the little tiny earbud headphones that have started expanding out into bigger and different types of headphone wear. They're a brand specifically for audiophiles, fans of music, and athletes is kind of their cross section. But they're trying to be more empowerment based with some of their content marketing efforts, and they understand kind of the value of how they can really take content marketing to a new level. So what I want to show you guys is this 12 moods campaign, and they're basically doing a mood every month. This mood is feisty. I think they actually just rolled out this. So this is from February. They just rolled out the new mood for this month, but I thought this one was cooler, so I'd walk you through it a little bit. So why is it content marketing? It's not just a product page. They're very, very focused on understanding the audience, speaking in the way that their audience will understand, and being mission driven as well. So they're trying to go with this mission to help mental health. So you can see it's music with a mission. They got this little mood boost, feel feisty thing going on for the month of February. But basically, what they're trying to do is every month help people who are struggling with depression, addiction, suicide. Because, as they put it, nothing changes the way we feel like music does. So you can see how crafted and really intense the February Feisty campaign is. So there's full-on video production content. Their landing pages are really intense. All the purchases also help with donations towards To Write Love on Her Arms, if you guys are familiar with Tola. And they're pulling in all sorts of influencers that are relevant to their audience, and people who are already fans of the product. So I wanted to show you guys also beyond just the shopping, because they use Big Commerce, I believe. So this is an example of one of their landing pages, and this is really built to convert. It's very specific, with single product focus. Unfortunately, this one's out of stock, but you can see the difference between a landing page like this for a product and a more traditional e-commerce product page. Just putting a lot of emphasis in here. If I switch tabs, can you still see this, Rob, if I switch tabs?
Yes, I can.
Cool. They also released this You Feel Me podcast. So they're really doubling down on the content play. It's not just all this great video content that they're seeding out there, but they're also reinforcing it with this really, really cool podcast that has 43 episodes so far. But it's an original Skull Candy podcast that has conversations with people from all walks of life, but specifically kind of around their campfires of musicians or athletes. So really cool play. I think I have another. Yeah, this is kind of this month's aesthetic look. But everything for each month, each mood has a whole content push. So they have podcast episodes, videos that release and drop. So each month is like a mini content campaign specific to that month's creative or influencer. So this is Gus this month. So again, just a different way to approach, kind of marketing from a content perspective in this more digital way. I like that they're doing a podcast. It's just giving people more to associate with the brand instead of just a single landing page or a checkout page. So thought it was cool. Thought it was visually very compelling as well. And if you guys are looking for a new podcast, I'd say check it out, the You Feel Me podcast. So that's what I got.
Love the design. I like the You
Yeah,
Feel Me
really cool.
idea too, because Skull Candy used to be, well, I guess it originated as a brand that like provided very strong bass in a very small package. So like, you feel me, like you feel the bass in your head. I don't know. I don't know if there's any connection
Yeah,
there,
for
but
sure.
and talk
I'm
about like
sure
a relevant
we're at some
bit of
level.
content.
Absolutely. Love it. Right on. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
That's some really cool stuff. Really, really cool designs.
Yeah, I love that design.
Good stuff. I don't know the lineup. Is it me? I can't see myself.
You're more than welcome to.
Go for it.
I'll do it. Don't twist my arm. All right.
Don't start
Hopefully-
talking yet because you know I'm gonna have to fix your screen real quick. I'm sorry, but
Gonna have to fix my screen. All right. I did used to exclusively use like the $13 Skull Candy wired earbuds for
Nice.
years and years. That was the only headphone that I would buy. So don't know anything about their content marketing, but we'll say I enjoy their headphones. Is that enough vamping?
not yet because
Oh
my
my goodness.
Streamlabs is basically saying no, you can't adjust this screen. This is what it is. So we're just all right. You know
It
what?
is
We're
what
going
it
with
is.
it.
I mean, that's my motto in life as well. Many very smart people say that.
That's how you develop all web projects, right?
It's my approach to life. Well, in talking content marketing and really anything, I feel like our team especially gets asked this a lot. It's like, oh, what are some examples of, who's doing this right? Who in the space is doing emails right? Or who's doing, web experiences right? And usually when we're asked that question, we just sort of like Google it really quick and then try to like pull some lists and top answers, unless there's something that's specific that we have. And so I think it's, a good step in figuring out what's working is to, before you go into researching like how to do content marketing and like, how do we put out a podcast, who's doing it right? And so I found this great list of the 2020 Women in Content Marketing Awards. Seems very relevant. So it's got this whole list. Here are the winners, and there's also the finalists as well. And it just shows, who it is and then what brand they're working for. So this is a great list of a ton of different brands. I mean, we have everything from NerdWallet to Amtrak to the Royal Bank of Canada, and all of these companies and these people are doing really great content marketing. So these are, I think, a good resource to have so that when we are trying to do something specific for a client, we can say, okay, which of these companies might be close, and let's take a look at what's working well and what that looks like. So I thought that this was a really great list to have online. So certainly something on topic. And someone who I really think is doing content extremely well in the last few years, this is serious, is Teen Vogue. I don't know if you have seen the articles that Teen Vogue has been putting out. They've got a full politics section on their site. A lot of
somehow
people
I
have been
missed
talking
those.
about is that no, this is serious. Like they have a lot of hard hitting pieces lately to the point where like bigger companies like are refusing to talk about issues, and Teen Vogue is like, no, we're going to talk about it. Like if it's like a political thing, if it's a pipeline thing, like they have articles about it. And I really like, again, they were not on my radar at all, but like Twitter and everything the last few years, like I've seen a lot of good stuff from Teen Vogue. And so, this being Women's History Month, I thought that this, even though this is from 2015, this talks about, the pink tax and how women pay more for the same things than men do. And you may be thinking, okay, 2015, Teen Vogue, like this is 2021. There's been a whole pandemic since then. This is not relevant. But don't worry, it is still relevant. Here's a newer article from 2019. This one is maybe more applicable to us about what marketers can do to help combat the pink tax. So it has these 4 different buckets of things that our brands can be doing, and this could be anything from adjusting their prices, working with legislators, education, which kind of goes back to that whole content marketing thing that Teen Vogue is doing, and then just kind of pivoting with your brand and what you're doing to innovate and really embrace different ways of creating and marketing products. And I know 2019 also feels like it's so long ago, But again, here's a 2021 article talking about how this is still an issue. And I think what's really interesting is this same topic is being talked about across Teen Vogue, across Campaign US, and here on Bankrate. So, these same topics can be kind of spun to fit, the marketing goals of whatever your brand is. So, here we're talking about credit cards, still relevant. We're talking about Teen Vogue, still relevant. Obviously, marketing, it's all relevant. So, just a few different ways to spin the same topic, but making the content more relevant for your brand and your users as well. So I thought that was interesting that I was able to find articles across 3 very different segments and times in our country.
Hey,
So
shout
cool.
out to Teen Vogue, man.
Yeah.
That I know my voice sounds sarcastic with everything I say, but I'm being serious. Like Teen Vogue's editorial content has been spot on lately.
Dig.
Believe it.
I'll look into
You're not a
that.
subscriber, Andy?
No, somehow I missed that one. I got to get on it.
Maybe we can gift a subscription in the future.
That
to
would be
Teen
great.
Vogue.
Totally.
Let us know if you're interested.
Very interested.
All right.
I think I'm up next. Rob, do you need to make any adjustments for me, or?
I actually
Okay.
can't today because it's broken, so just go with it.
Oh, okay. So here's my unadjusted screen. So in preparation for International Women's Day, IKEA launched a new piece of content, which I thought was kind of a creative way to, acknowledge the day, the month for Women's History Month, but also connect it to their own brand. So obviously they are a home furniture store. So the way that they're kind of getting in on this topic is by creating what they're calling a digital card game, which is called 50/50. And this page here is just kind of the press release that announced the game. And it's featured on Instagram stories, which I'll show you in a second. But here it's just an overview. It's called 50/50, and it's talking about how there's gender inequality in household work. So that's kind of the connection that they're making between their own brand, what they serve, products for home, and kind of that kind of specific segment of, a societal inequality. So if you take a look at the game here, you can see that it's saved in their highlights. So it's using Instagram as the platform, stories as the method within Instagram, how they're allowing people to use this game. I always love when brands use existing platforms in different ways. So we always think of stories as just like a sequence of images or videos, but the way that they've kind of played it so that it turns into a game is what I thought was really unique. So when you click into it, I'm showing this on the desktop version, so you see like some controls that you wouldn't normally see on mobile. But you can see on the bottom here how they have press to hold, which that's something that if you're familiar with Instagram stories, that's kind of how you stay on that current slide. So it's just kind of giving you that prompt so that you have time to read the rules. So it's giving you an introduction, and then you can kind of go to the next one. I'll just go through a few of these to show you kind of what the deal is, but it has the instructions there. Throughout, there's a few polls or questions that they surface so that you can kind of feel like you're interacting in the moment and you can get the results there. But then once you get into the actual game, it has these really fun animations. Obviously, it's a digital card game, but they feel like it actually exists, which I thought was nice. So just like the texture, the design of it, and the really fun animation kind of makes it feel more tangible in a way. And so the goal of this is really to have a conversation between yourself and anyone you live with in your home, and kind of just have a deeper conversation about the inequality of the gender inequality of household work. And that's it. It's fun to go through. So I encourage you guys to take a look on your own.
Thanks, man. That is very fun.
So cool.
Love that animation. Of course.
And it shows like a very premium investment in this content. I mean, clearly IKEA has that type of budget where they could probably set that aside for an initiative like this, because it's clearly executed at a very high clip.
All right. I'm gonna kick you off here. My screen's probably massive. Rod, you probably can't do much about it.
Oh, you know what? It's actually coming in almost perfectly.
Sick.
We're golden.
Okay. So I'm gonna take a step back here from like the beautiful, sexy content marketing, and we're gonna go with GE, which is historically a very dry, a bunch of like sweaty engineering nerds like with their abacuses and calculators and just like doing engineering and math problems. They realized that, and they kind of wanted to step into the modern age. Now, this was back in 2013, like right after Instagram got bought out by Facebook, and they said, well, what if we do an Instagram kind of general awareness campaign for GE? So that's what they did, and it was called GE InstaWalk. Now, what they did was enlist, I think it was like 6 influencers and then 6 super fans of GE, right? And they took them on a tour, and they went on a tour in Texas for like a green energy plant, and then they went on a tour for like a locomotive installment. So this is kind of just a brief view of the hashtag page on Instagram. Needless to say, they didn't spend any paid advertising money on this. It was all pay the influencers, get the word out, and let's see what happens. I mean, great things happened. They shared some metrics here. In the first 2 days, 200,000 social engagements, over 3.3 million reach per tour, which is pretty incredible, and then a ton of new traction on their account page on Instagram. So the general awareness worked. All accomplished with no paid media support, and it's evergreen, right? So this was done in 2013, and they've just still been giving tours and paying these influencers to take pictures of the tour. And I mean, this is not an unsexy engineer nerd picture, right? This is a pretty badass, highly designed, highly influential post. And it's not just the Instagram, right? There's a ton of behind the scenes footage that they put on their GE Aviation YouTube page. And I decided to just look into each of their branches on Instagram, and they all kind of follow this main tenet of be sexy, like produce content that people want to see. That's not necessarily like, here's the engine that we made and this is what we're selling to another business. Like, show it in use, show really cool perspectives of it. This is their healthcare page. One could argue that's sexy. Additive page, beautifully shot, aviation page, and you go through all of General Electric and it's all this way. So they're really positioning themselves as a forward-thinking, design-influenced company when in reality they're probably super nerdy, and it's perception is reality, I guess.
One of the shots
both
from that GE InstaWalk campaign, yeah, you can be both. One of those shots is like an awesome drone shot that has like 28,000 views.
Yes, I think I
It's like
saw it.
from like it's like starts with the guy like laying on the ground.
Yep.
But it's just a really great example of how maybe if you don't have like an IKEA like budget, to do something really over the top, you can always use the power of your audience, and user generated content to supplement or to even potentially springboard, a whole new content stream. So UGC is certainly a really great and underutilized still content marketing approach.
Oh yeah, and I mean these are obviously very highly produced, pretty high budget. The consensus is like it doesn't have to be that high quality. If you're putting it out, 2-3 times a week, cadence is key, reliability is key. Making sure you're talking to a clearly defined audience that you can then follow up with. So yeah, that's really good stuff. And then I decided to look at ours, and I was like, yeah, this is sexy and tells a story, and there's a lot of character here, and I don't think I'd seen a page that looked this good. Maybe I'm a little biased, but like, come on. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's the best one. That's the best
I'd
one
agree.
right there.
I mean, look at this.
Look at that. I mean, how can you compete with that?
And then a completely unrelated one is blend text. I'm sure we've all seen Will It Blend. This is just a stream of content, hilarious, violent, entertaining, that obviously blend text sells a blender. And does it matter if it'll blend in Amazon Echo? Not necessarily, but they'll blend it and people will watch. And these things, this came out, 15 years ago or something like that?
Dude,
And
they still get crazy views.
oh yeah, they still have an audience. Just another long-standing, very very strong example of content marketing working. And their sales have increased, I think, over 700% since they started doing this 14 years ago.
Yeah, of course.
It's crazy.
I mean, now that's their primary marketing vehicle.
Arguably their primary source of revenue too.
Yeah, it's content, So, some brands may look at content marketing as an iron in the fire, and then you can see a brand like Blendtec, and that is the fire. Like, that's the whole thing for them,
Yeah.
Very cool.
So yeah.
So cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, of course.
I wanted to share something, but I can't because whatever. So I'll just talk about it, which is fine because, I mean, it was an article anyway. But it's an article talking about Burton Snowboards and how their senior leadership team is so, like, happy to announce that they are a 50-50 split between male and female. And their whole thing now is that, like, because of that, they have found, like, such a good balance, and they have been marketing to women and making sure that women are either always in the upfront or right next to the guys, and, like, they're never, in the background or out of focus, because they kind of did an audit a few years back and realized that, like, they thought they were checking the box by having women in the photos and women in their advertisements, but not having them, like, as the stars necessarily. And the viewers caught on to that. So they've been fixing that, and they've been really just doing a great job of bringing that equality to their brand. And it's another thing of, like, practicing what they preach, which is awesome. So we'll post that article in the email so you guys can read it because it's fun.
There you go.
But yeah,
All right, does that just about wrap us up?
I think
pretty
that
much.
does.
All right. Well, you guys heard it here. Content marketing, it's here to stay. Got lots of great examples. Check the email later in the day. Let us know if there's something you want to see or want to hear about. Wait, women should snowboard and ski. That apparently, Courtney, yeah.
Yeah,
Apparently so.
absolutely.
I think they should ski, but
Yeah,
I
Burton
think
did do a
everyone
great
should ski.
job with that. Jeff endorses everyone equal opportunity skiing. Well, I'm going to ski on to a meeting with Jake and Phil, but hopefully you guys ski on to something else cool and have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. And congrats again on a killer night at the Addies. And I hope whatever you're working on right now is kicking just as much or more ass. So
Cool, dude.
that's it for Big Byte.
Have a good weekend.
Bye, guys.
Peace. Bye. Miss you, Devo.
I was just thinking that, like, these usually go a little bit longer with one other person.